Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are taking a close look at some source material shared by you, our listener. Specifically, we're diving into a fascinating blog post from Dr. Benjamin.
That's right. And this deep dive is, well, it's a bit special. It's really designed for those of you who are learning English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we want to make this a chance for you to practice your English listening and understanding while also, exploring some truly interesting ideas from systems thinking.
So think of this as a double opportunity. You get to improve your English skills and gain some powerful insights into how complex things work.
Uh-huh.
This is especially useful when we talk about leadership or even big global challenges like, say, climate change. We're going to keep the English clear and simple, sort of middle school level, and we'll help you understand some important words along the way.
Exactly. Our mission today is really to unpack Dr. Benjamin's thoughts. He read a reflection from a student after they played a game about climate change. And this student wrote one sentence that made Dr. Benjamin pause and think deeply.
One sentence? Okay.
Yeah. We're going to explore that sentence and see what it teaches us about being effective, not just efficient, especially when dealing with complex systems.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The source material starts with Dr. Benjamin reading reflections from students who had just played the World Climate Simulation game.
Right, that game.
Yeah, it's designed to help people understand the big, complex problem of climate change by letting them experience different roles and decisions. Kind of puts you in the shoes, you know?
Exactly. And as you mentioned, one sentence from a student's reflection really jumped out at him. The student wrote, and I'll read it exactly, "I decided to become an efficient leader who considers complex variables, not just one factor."
Now, when I first read that sentence, I thought, okay, that sounds pretty good. I mean, being efficient usually means doing things well without wasting time or resources, right? And thinking about complex variables. Well, that sounds like a smart leader who considers many different things. So what was it about the word efficient that made Dr. Benjamin stop?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Dr. Benjamin saw something in that word efficient that he feels is a common trap, especially when we're trying to solve big, complicated problems like climate change or, lead complex groups of people.
A trap. Okay.
Yeah. He feels that efficiency, the word itself, is often less important or maybe often misunderstood compared to effectiveness.
Ah, okay. Efficiency versus effectiveness. We hear those words a lot. So let's make sure we understand them perfectly, especially for our English learners. What exactly is the difference?
Great question. Let's try and define them clearly. Efficient means doing something in the best possible way, using the least amount of time, money, or effort. It's really about how well you do something.
Ah, well, okay.
Imagine you have homework. You finish it quickly, no mistakes, used your time and books wisely.
Well,
You are being efficient with your homework, doing it well.
got it. Doing it quickly and well. So then effective. How's that different?
Effective is different.
Yeah?
Effective means successfully achieving the goal you intended. It's about doing the right things to get the desired result.
The right things.
Right. So using the homework example again, if you have a test tomorrow, being effective isn't just about finishing the homework fast, right?
Uh-huh.
It's about studying the right topics from your notes and book the topics that will actually help you pass the test. Even if it takes you longer than just like rushing through the homework, you are doing the things that lead to the correct outcome.
Okay. Okay, I see the difference now. Efficiency is about how you do something. Effectiveness is about what you achieve, the goal.
Yep.
So Dr. Benjamin is saying that focusing on effectiveness, making sure you are working towards the correct purpose or goal, is usually more important.
Exactly. He says there's a kind of dilemma here.
A dilemma?
Yeah, a dilemma is a situation where you have to choose between two things, and it's difficult because, well, maybe both choices have problems, or one choice might hurt the other goal. The dilemma is this. Once you know where you want to go, once you know your goal, that's effectiveness, you naturally start thinking about how to get there in the best way possible.
Right, makes sense.
And this is when efficiency seems very important. And it is. We want to reach our goals efficiently.
So what's the problem? If efficiency helps you reach your goal, why is it a dilemma? What's the catch?
The catch, or the problem, is that sometimes focusing too much on how you are doing something, focusing intensely on being efficient, can make you forget why you started in the first place.
Oh.
You can become very good at doing something efficiently, but you lose sight of your main goal or purpose. You forget about effectiveness. The way you are working takes all your attention, and you forget the reason you started working.
Wow. So you can become very efficient at doing the wrong thing.
Precisely. And this dilemma, it happens everywhere. Running a business, people can become really efficient at processes that don't actually help the business's main mission. It happens in government. When making new rules, the process might be efficient. But does the rule actually solve the intended problem effectively? And it happens in education. And yeah, even in our daily lives, we can get really efficient at tasks that aren't truly helping us reach our most important life goals.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like spending all your time efficiently organizing your desk perfectly, maybe color coding everything, but you never actually start the important work on the desk because you're so focused on the organizing process itself.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, another key idea from the student's reflection that Dr. Benjamin highlights is about how we think about systems.
Systems.
Yeah, a system is like a group of connected parts that work together, like the different parts of a car engine, or all the people and rules in a school, or even, the complex interactions of the Earth climate.
Got it.
And the student wrote something very insightful. Systems are value neutral, and good and bad depend on interpretation.
Value neutral. What does that mean for a system? Like, it doesn't have values.
Exactly. It's fascinating, right? It means the system itself doesn't have opinions, feelings, or ideas about what is good or bad. It's like a machine, just is, and it operates based on its rules and connections.
Mm-hmm.
A system doesn't naturally support one value or idea of what is good over another. It's value neutral.
So like you said before with the hammer analogy, the hammer system handle, metal head, is value neutral. It doesn't care if you use it to build a house for someone, which we'd say is good, or break a window, which is bad. The hammer itself just is.
Exactly right. The scissor operates based on how it's built and what you do with it. The goodness or badness comes from us, from our choices, our goals, how we interpret the results the system produces.
Okay.
And this raises a really important question. If we only use efficiency as our guide for using a system, if we only care about making the system run smoothly and quickly, we might end up with a bad system that works well.
Ooh, that's a powerful thought. A bit scary, actually. A bad system that works well. Can you give an example, maybe?
Well, think about maybe a factory that produces a lot of pollution very efficiently. The factory system is perhaps highly efficient at turning raw materials into products with minimal waste inside its own walls.
Right, very streamlined.
But the overall result for the environment and the community is very bad.
Mm-hmm.
The system is efficient in its design, but highly ineffective, even harmful in its outcomes.
And the people who are really good at making that factory run efficiently, they might be called capable operators, skilled managers.
Yeah.
But are they good leaders?
Dr. Benjamin would argue probably not. True leadership, especially in these complex systems, needs to consider the purpose and the results of the system itself, not just how quickly or smoothly it runs.
Right.
I mean, being an efficient leader in a bad system could just mean you are very skilled at making things worse faster. And that's definitely not the kind of leadership we need for big challenges like climate change.
Okay, so this brings us to systems thinking. What does that ask us to focus on instead of just efficiency or even just the final results, the stocks as you call them?
Systems thinking, according to Dr. Benjamin and others in the field, asks us to look more at the flow within a system. The flow.
Flow, like a river.
Exactly like a river. Think back to maybe a lake. A lake has a certain amount of water in it right now that's like a stock, a quantity at a specific moment.
Okay, the amount of water in the lake right now, that's the stock.
Right. But systems thinking is more interested in the flow, the movement of water into the lake from rivers, the movement of water out of the lake through outlets or evaporation. It's about the processes and connections that make the stock change over time.
So it's about the activity, the movement, the process over time, not just a snapshot of the amount at one moment.
Exactly. A key systems thinking question that Dr. Benjamin pulls from the blog is, what flow did I choose today?
What flow did I choose?
Yeah, it means what actions did I take today that started a process or created movement within the system I'm part of? What decisions did I make that influenced the flows?
And he also mentions, am I aware of the delays that exist between that flow and the results? Stocks. What are these delays?
A delay is simply a time lag. It's pretty common in systems. What you do now, a flow, often doesn't produce a visible result, a change in the stock immediately. There's a delay, a waiting period.
Okay.
For example, if you decide to start exercising today, that's a flow, you probably won't see a big change in your health or weight. The stock, tomorrow.
Right, definitely no.
There's a delay of weeks or months, maybe longer.
Ah, so understanding these delays is really crucial because if you don't see results quickly, you might get discouraged and stop the flow, stop exercising,
Yeah.
not realizing that the positive change was coming, just delayed, or the opposite maybe. You
Yeah.
might do something harmful, a flow, and not see the bad result for a long time, making you think it's okay.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Climate change is a classic example with huge delays. Our actions emitting greenhouse gases now, that's a flow, have effects on global temperatures, a stock, that play out over decades, even centuries.
Hmm.
So systems thinking helps us make better choices by understanding these movements, connections, and these delays over time, rather than just reacting to what we see happening right this second.
Okay, let's look at another point Dr. Benjamin makes about the danger of focusing only on efficiency, or, as he puts it, just doing your best at your own specific task.
Right. It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone just do your job perfectly.
Mm.
But Dr. Benjamin points out that in a complex, connected system, this focus only on your small piece can actually lead to the whole system failing or becoming unstable.
Really?
Yeah, he talks about people aiming for part optimization, making their small part of the system work as efficiently and perfectly as possible without looking at how it affects the other parts.
Why does that happen, though? I mean, if everyone is doing their part efficiently, shouldn't the whole thing run smoothly, like a well-oiled machine?
You'd think so, but this is a really key insight from systems thinking. When people focus too intensely only on their own small part, they often lose sight of the connectivity.
Connectivity, the
Right.
connections.
Yeah, how their part is linked to and affects all the other parts of the system. They might make their part super efficient in a way that actually causes problems or delays somewhere else in the system or for the system as a whole.
So my super efficient work on my piece might accidentally make your piece harder or slower because we're connected in the system, even if I don't realize it.
Precisely. And this intense focus on just your own efficiency can become what's called a self-reinforcing loop.
Self-reinforcing loop,
Huh.
like it feeds itself.
Exactly. Imagine a cycle. The more you focus on your own efficiency, the better you get at it.
Mm.
Getting better feels good, right?
Yeah.
So you focus on it even more. This makes you even more efficient at your part, which makes you focus even more, and so on.
It strengthens itself like a circle going round and round.
Yes. It's a loop where focusing on efficiency makes you more likely to focus on efficiency. It pulls your attention away from the larger system, its connections, and its overall effectiveness.
Hmm.
It reinforces the behavior of focusing only on the small part, ignoring the big picture. And that's a really dangerous loop in complex challenges like climate change, where everything is so interconnected globally.
Okay, this is really powerful stuff. So let's go back to that student sentence. I decided to become an efficient leader who considers complex variables. Based on everything we've discussed from Dr. Benjamin's blog, how would we reframe that? Change that sentence to reflect the systems thinking leadership idea.
Well, Dr. Benjamin suggests a small but, I think, very important change. Instead of saying, I decided to become an efficient leader who considers complex variables.
He suggests thinking of it this way. I decided to become a systems leader who reflects on what results my choices create within a complex structure.
See the difference? It's crucial. It's not just about being good at operating within a complex system efficiently, considers complex variables. It's about being a leader who understands the system's structure itself and actively thinks about the impact of their choices on that structure and its overall outcomes, reflecting on the results within the structure.
So a systems leader looks at the whole machine, how the parts connect, how the flows work, and how their actions change things. Not just how well they can operate one dial or lever on their part of the machine.
That's a great way to put it.
And they might even think about how to improve the design of the machine itself if it's not effective, not just run the existing machine faster.
Exactly. They look beyond just doing their best at their part and consider the well-being and effectiveness of the entire system. It's a bigger perspective.
Now, it's important to remember, as you said, that the student's reflection had many other really valuable points. Dr. Benjamin, focusing on that one sentence about efficiency, was a way to highlight the specific systems thinking trap. But the student showed great understanding in other areas, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, yes. The student deeply understood the seriousness of climate change. That came through clearly. They realized how much extreme, difficult effort is needed globally from many countries working together. They saw that even when using tools like C-ROADS in the simulation game, which shows these complex climate models.
And they had that very clear insight about systems being value neutral, just as we discussed. They got that. They understood that systems don't have opinions and learned not to force their own ideas of what is good onto others, recognizing that different people have different perspectives on how to use a system. That's pretty mature thinking.
Very. And another great point from the student was their insight about people learning by watching others.
Yeah.
That tendency people have for following examples.
Yeah.
Monkey see, monkey do kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they understood this, they decided that to create positive change, especially with climate action, they needed to be a role model.
A role model. That's someone whose behavior or example is copied by others, right?
Right. They decided they needed to lead by example, to take action themselves and show others what needs to be done instead of just giving orders or telling others what to do. It's a very powerful leadership idea, I think. Leading by doing.
Definitely. And finally, they saw the importance of being open to new ideas and perspectives, accepting insights from others. An insight, let's clarify, is like a deep, clear understanding of something difficult.
Right. And being open to different insights is so key in complex systems where, let's face it, no one person has all the answers. You need those different viewpoints.
Yeah.
So these are all excellent systems thinking takeaways from the student's reflection.
Yeah.
Dr. Benjamin's point about the word efficiency was just a way to take one specific phrase and make the understanding of leadership within systems even more precise and, well, powerful.
Okay, great. So maybe let's quickly review the main ideas and vocabulary we've learned today from Dr. Benjamin's blog post. This is great for our English practice and for understanding systems thinking.
Sounds good. So first, we learn the important difference between efficiency, which is doing things well without waste, maybe quickly, and effectiveness, which is doing the right things to reach your goal. And we talked about how focusing too much on efficiency can be a trap if you lose sight of effectiveness.
Right. Then we explored the idea that systems are value neutral. They don't have opinions. Our choices and how we use them create the outcomes, which makes us responsible.
Exactly. And we looked at systems thinking itself, which focuses on the flow, the movement, and processes within a system over time, rather than just isolated results or amounts, often called stocks.
And tied to that, the importance of understanding delays, that time lag between actions and results.
Crucial. We also saw how focusing only on being efficient in your small part, what Dr. Benjamin called part optimization, can actually harm the whole system because you ignore the connectivity between the parts.
And how this can become a self-reinforcing loop, pulling your focus further and further into just your small piece, ignoring the big picture.
Right. And finally, we reframed leadership.
Yeah.
We suggested that a true systems leader is someone who reflects on the entire system's structure and their impact on it, rather than just being good at operating within the current system efficiently.
And the student's idea of being a role model and being open to insight from others are really key qualities of that kind of leader.
Absolutely.
We really hope this deep dive helped you practice your English while learning some powerful ideas about systems thinking and leadership. It's really fascinating how one sentence from a student can spark such important reflections on how we make choices in this complex world.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about your own actions and decisions every single day. Are you focused on just doing things efficiently, or are you really focused on being effective, making sure you're doing the right things to reach the right goals? It's a good question to ask.
It really is. So here's something for you, our listener, to think about after this deep dive, using the ideas we discussed. In your own life or work today, what flow did you choose? And were you thinking about how that flow connects to the larger system or your overall goals?
That's a great takeaway question. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning, in English and in life. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into some fascinating material.